Now that we've done all the work in creating our program, it's time to get it out of Final Cut. There are numerous ways where you might want to do that, but in this movie, we'll take a look at the most basic and probably the most common way that you'll do it, by exporting a standalone QuickTime movie that you could then screen or take to the web or elsewhere. So I'm going to go to my 12.2 keyword collection, and this is a project that contains both my promo and my montage. So I want to put both of those projects on the same screen or copy. And before we actually export it, I want to explore chapter markers, which can be helpful to add to your program in order to help viewers quickly navigate within a lengthy project. Chapter markers travel with the exported file and can be viewed when the movie is exported as a QuickTime, displayed on the web, or compressed for a DVD. So I want to put a chapter marker at the beginning of the promo and at the beginning of the montage. I'm going to zoom in here, and then I'm going to press Option M to add a marker, and I'll call this Promo. And the chapter marker is the third option over here. So I'll select that as a chapter marker and say Done. And I have this orange marker now, and if I click on it, I get this little pin. And for some programs, I'm able to define that as the thumbnail for my chapter marker. But for our purposes, I'll just put it on the first frame here. And then notice I've already added a chapter marker down here on my montage. So I have two chapter markers, and now I want to export this file. I come up to File, Share, and there are many options in here, but I'm going to choose Master File. And notice that the keyboard shortcut for that is Command-E. All right, so right now I'm in the Info tab, and here is my program. So if I skim across it, I can see everything. And then here's where I would name the file. So I'm just going to call it PR for Project Reload, Master. I can give it a description, so I'll just say Promo plus Montage. Down here I can add some tags, which might be useful if I need to search for this file later on my system or the web. I'm not going to add any tags for right now. Down here are my default settings for this file. Notice that I can't click and change anything here. If I want to make any changes, I head over to Settings. And let's talk about some of these choices. Under Format, I can choose whether I want to export video and audio, or just audio. And below that are some publishing formats that I could also choose. But if I did, then my options for compression would become much more limited because Final Cut would be compressing my file for a specific device or for the web. Remember that, because I'll come back to that and show you what I mean after I talk a little bit more about codecs. And we'll touch on the broadcast option a little later in this chapter. All right, so I'm going to choose video and audio, and then I'm going to head to video codec. Here I have about 16 options, and up at the top, I have about a half dozen options within the Apple ProRes family. And again, that's Apple's high-quality codec, and you can read Apple's documentation about what each of these really is, as each differs in quality, data rate, capabilities, and so on. But in general, this list is organized from the highest quality to the lowest quality, and the one that's checked is our good old Apple ProRes 422, which you might remember is the same format as the optimized format that Apple uses when it transcodes files to the optimized flavor. Below that is H.264, a really nice looking small file that is very popular when optimizing for the web. And then below that, I have uncompressed in both 8-bit and 10-bit flavors, so that'll be my largest file without any compression. And then I have some AVC Intra flavors, and that's Panasonic's production quality HD codec. And then I also have Panasonic's DVC Pro HD option, HDV, and finally a few different flavors within the Sony XD Cam codec. So this is a very good sampling of some very popular, useful codecs. And when choosing an export compression, you'll want to run tests. There's going to be differences in the quality, the size, the speed that it takes to make the file. And you want to be sure that you're happy with the combination of all of these factors when you're creating your master file. Now, I should say that many other editing programs tend to have a whole lot more options, sometimes dozens and dozens. However, what Final Cut has done is include the big hitters, the most popular and effective options here within the application. And if you need to export a different video codec, then you simply send it through Compressor, which is Apple's encoding program that you can purchase right along with Final Cut. Now, I said I would come back to my publishing options. So real quick, watch what happens when I switch from the mastering video and audio format to Apple devices, for example. If I come up to video codec, I only have two options, both H.264 with a faster encode or a better quality. It really limits your options because right now it's optimizing for an Apple device. And what device is it optimizing for? Well, if I hover down here, you can see the list. When I switch back to just video and audio, and I hover down here, you can see that the only thing chosen is my Mac. But right now, that's okay because I'm creating this as a screener copy that I want to view on my computer. So I'll make sure to choose video and audio, and I'll choose Apple ProRes 422. Again, a high-quality codec that is great not only for editing, but also for screening and sharing with collaborators. Below that, I can choose to include my chapter markers, which I have set, so I'll make sure to export with those. And then here, I can choose what I do with the file when it exports. You can have it open right into QuickTime so you can review it, or you can send it to Compressor if you want to perform compression outside of Final Cut. Right now, I have a plugin installed that's going to send it to a video collaboration service, Frame.io. You won't have that in your list unless you've also installed the plugin. You can also send it to an iTunes playlist, or if you choose Other, that opens up your Applications folder and you can have it open up in any program that you wish. But for us, I'll go ahead and choose Do Nothing so that it just goes straight to my desktop. And then down here for this Roles option, this is something that we'll explore a little later in this chapter when we talk about exporting stems. And right down here is the estimated file size. So if I'm happy with all of these, I'll choose Next, and I can send it to my desktop. Now, I actually just exported this file right before I started recording this movie so we could get to it quickly. So I'll cancel this and then go to my desktop, hide Final Cut, and here it is. I'll open it, and let's go half size here. So right now I'm in QuickTime 7, and this is the way that I navigate from chapter marker to chapter marker. So if I want to go to my montage, I can pop straight there and play. And if I open it in QuickTime Pro, you can see that this is what my menu looks like. I have some poster frames, so I can go from chapter marker to chapter marker, like so. Okay, so now I've created a high-quality QuickTime movie that I can deliver to my client, keep as an archival copy, or bring into another program for further work.